All right, let's talk about the internet. That magical place where you can watch endless cat videos, learn how to bake sourdough bread, and accidentally convince yourself you have a rare tropical disease. It's a wild ride. But let's start with a picture. You might have seen it. Pope Francis, the head of the Catholic Church, looking unbelievably cool. He's wearing a massive, white, puffy, Balenciaga-style jacket. He looks like he's about to drop the hottest mixtape of the year. The internet went nuts. People shared it. People loved it. Some were even outraged by the sheer audacity of his fashion choice. It was a perfect viral moment. There was just one tiny little problem with this iconic image. It was completely, utterly fake. That's right. The Pope in the puffy jacket never happened. The image was generated by an artificial intelligence program. It wasn't a photograph. It was a digital fantasy. Yet, millions of people saw it. A shocking number believed it was real. They didn't just believe it for a second. They shared it. They commented on it. They formed opinions based on it. This wasn't some grand political conspiracy. It was just a picture. But it perfectly shows how easily our brains can be tricked by what we see on our screens every single day. This isn't just about fun, harmless pictures. It affects what we buy. It affects who we vote for. It affects how we see the world around us. The line between what's real and what's not has become dangerously blurry. Some of it is designed to fool us. Some is designed to make us angry. Some is designed to make us click. Some is designed to make someone, somewhere, a little bit of money. This isn't a problem for other people. This is a problem for you, and for me, and for everyone who uses the internet. So why do we fall for things like a fashion-forward pope? It's simple, really. Our brains are wired to take shortcuts. When we see something that looks real, surprise, laughter, anger, curiosity, we tend to accept it. We don't stop to ask, wait, is this real? Especially when we're scrolling quickly through our phones. Creators of fake news know this. They exploit it. They craft stories and images designed to hit you right in the feels because an emotional reaction is much faster than a logical one. An angry click is still a click. A shocked share is still a share. Think about the last time you saw a headline that made your blood boil. Politician caught selling toxic waste to kindergartens. Your immediate reaction isn't to open a new tab and start fact-checking. It's to feel outrage. I knew it, they're all corrupt. That emotional surge is exactly what the creators wanted. It makes you more likely to share the story without a second thought, helping it spread like a digital wildfire. This isn't because you're dumb. It's because you're human. Fake news bypasses the rational brain and goes straight for the gut. This isn't a game. Misinformation has real-world consequences. It can influence elections. It can ruin reputations. It can cause physical harm. This constant flood of falsehoods erodes our trust in the media, in our leaders, in each other. The good news: you can learn how to do it. You can build defenses against misinformation. That's exactly what we're going to talk about. At its core, fake news is information that is deliberately 100% false, but it's dressed up to look like a real news story. It's like putting a cheap plastic rat in a fancy tuxedo and trying to pass it off as a distinguished guest at a dinner party. The goal is to trick you. It's not a mistake. It's not an opinion you disagree with. It's not satire. It is a purpose-built, weaponized lie, designed to spread and deceive as many people as possible. The first weapon in the fake news arsenal is the headline. This is the bait on the hook. Think of headlines like, "Politician secretly a lizard person, leaked documents reveal. New superfood cures all diseases, doctors furious." It's psychological manipulation, playing on our natural curiosity, playing on our deepest fears and desires. Once the headline has you, the next step is the emotional hook. Fake news stories are almost never calm or balanced. They are designed to make you feel something, and feel it strongly. Anger, fear. When you're angry, you're less likely to think critically. You just react, share, spread the rage. Finally, there's the rapid spread, the viral component. When you share it on social media, you're giving it your personal stamp of approval. Your friends trust you. They're more likely to believe it and share it. This creates a chain reaction. A single fake story can reach millions in a matter of hours, far faster than the truth can catch up. The lie has already circled the globe while the truth is still trying to find its shoes. So, who are these shadowy figures hunched over their keyboards, pumping these lies into our digital veins? Often, the answer is a lot more boring and a lot more greedy. Many creators of fake news are in it for one simple reason: money. Every time you click on one of their sensational stories, you land on a web page plastered with advertisements. Each click generates a tiny fraction of a cent, but when a story goes viral, those fractions add up to a serious payday. These people are essentially digital con artists running a clickbait factory. They don't care about the truth. It's a cynical, profitable enterprise that pollutes our information ecosystem for the sake of a few advertising dollars. But it's not always about the money. Sometimes the motivation is political. They create and spread false stories to make their opponents look bad or to make their own side look better. They might invent scandals, misrepresent a candidate's views, or flat out lie about their record. The goal is to manipulate voters by feeding them a steady diet of misinformation, hoping it will sway their decision in the voting booth. And then there's the third category, the chaos agents. These are the people who just want to watch the world burn. They do it for the thrill, for the lulz. They want to prove how easy it is to fool people. They want to sow discord, create arguments, and erode public trust just for the fun of it. They see society as a game, and they enjoy seeing how much chaos they can cause with a few well-placed lies. Now, let's talk about how these lies spread. They are strategically released into the wild, and social media is their natural habitat. Algorithms on platforms like Facebook, X, TikTok are designed to show you things that will keep you engaged. These platforms don't have a truth detector. They have an engagement detector. So when a fake news story starts getting a lot of angry comments and shares, the algorithm thinks, wow, this is popular, and shows it to even more people. This creates a vicious cycle. The creators of fake news understand this system perfectly. They are like vultures who know exactly where to find a meal. Another key factor is our psychology. Confirmation bias. We naturally believe info that confirms what we already think. Fake news creators exploit this mercilessly. They target specific groups with stories custom-made to confirm their biases. That's why fake news spreads so fast inside echo chambers. An echo chamber is a community where everyone shares the same beliefs and opposing views are shut down. There's no one to say, hey, wait a minute, is this actually true? The lie becomes a shared truth, and anyone who questions it is seen as an outsider or an enemy. Okay, so we've established that the internet is a minefield. You might want to throw your phone into a volcano and move to a cave. But don't do that. There's a better way. There is a defense system, a shield. It's called media literacy. Sounds like a boring class? Stick with me, it's actually a superpower. Antivirus software for your brain, protecting you from misinformation. Media literacy is the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, create media in lots of formats. In plain English, you're not a passive couch potato. You're an active, critical consumer. You're the bouncer at the nightclub of your mind, checking IDs, deciding who gets in. It applies to news and everything. A meme your aunt shared on Facebook, a viral video on TikTok, a sponsored post from an influencer, even this essay. When you see a shocking headline, your media-literate brain asks, who made this? Why did they make it? Who is this for? Is it trying to make me feel a certain way? Where's the evidence? These questions are your first line of defense. They stop the knee-jerk share and give your rational brain a moment to catch up. At the heart of media literacy is one core skill, the ability to distinguish fact from opinion. This sounds incredibly basic, like something you learned in 3rd grade. But it's amazing how often we forget it. A fact is a statement that can be proven true or false with evidence. For example, the Earth is round. We can verify that with mountains of evidence. An opinion is a statement that expresses a feeling, a belief, or a judgment. For example, pineapple on pizza is an abomination. That's a belief. I can't prove it with data. Fake news is brilliant at blurring this line, presenting strong opinions as if they are established facts. A media-literate person? Look for evidence. When a story makes a big claim, they ask, okay, show me the receipts. Does the article link to original sources? Or does it just use vague phrases like, many people are saying, or it is widely believed? That's a massive red flag. Fake news often relies on strong emotional language and assertive claims. hoping you won't notice that it's all built on a foundation of thin air. Another part of this superpower is understanding bias and persuasion. No source of information is perfectly neutral. Media literacy helps you recognize these biases. You learn to ask questions like, what words are being used? Are they neutral and descriptive? Or are they loaded and emotional? Once you train your brain to look for these patterns, they become surprisingly easy to spot. It's like those magic eye pictures. At first, it just looks like a mess of squiggles. But once you know how to look, the hidden image, in this case the lie, just pops right out. So, media literacy helps you spot fake news. Fantastic. You can now smugly point out your cousin's bogus Facebook posts. But honestly, it's about so much more than that. It's about moving from being a passive victim of information overload to being a confident, informed participant in society. You can make better decisions for yourself, for your family, for your community. A healthy democracy depends on an informed citizenry. Not a citizenry that all agrees, but one that operates from a shared set of facts. This also involves understanding the difference between a credible source and a dubious one. A credible news source has a reputation to uphold. They have editors, fact-checkers, ethical standards. Do they make mistakes? Absolutely. But when they do, they typically issue corrections. A fake news site, on the other hand, has none of that. It has no history, no named journalists, no accountability. By becoming more media literate, you become a roadblock for misinformation. Instead of being a link in the chain of a viral lie, you become the person who breaks the chain. Let's take a trip to the Philippines, specifically to Quezon City. For years, it has been one of the world's ground zeros for political misinformation and fake news. The problem got so bad that the people in charge, the actual city officials, realized they were in a street fight against lies, and they were losing. Misinformation was spreading like a virus, causing confusion, stoking anger, making it nearly impossible to govern effectively. So, they decided to train their own people to become misinformation firefighters. They started running workshops for public officials, city hall employees, local community leaders. They focused on teaching the core skills of media literacy. They taught critical thinking. They showed them how to spot the classic tricks of emotional manipulation. The idea was to create an internal network of people who could spot a lie before it went viral. Instead of one person trying to debunk a fake story, you have hundreds of trusted local officials who can stop it in its tracks. They become trusted nodes in the information network. They are fighting the fire right there on the ground, block by block. It proves that media literacy isn't just an individual skill, it can be a community strategy. Now let's fly across the globe to another country facing a similar yet distinct battle, Zimbabwe. Here, the problem has a much darker, more dangerous edge. Scammers create elaborate fake job offers, promising high salaries and a better life. Desperate people fall for the trap. They end up being victims of human trafficking, forced into labor or slavery. The lie they clicked on costs them their freedom. Faced with this life-or-death consequence, the government of Zimbabwe realized that just telling people to be careful online was not going to cut it. They are in the process of developing a national media literacy policy. This is a top-down, nationwide commitment. It means teaching it in schools, running public awareness campaigns, providing resources and training for adults. They are essentially trying to build a national shield against lies, making the entire population more resilient to manipulation. They are vaccinating their society against the virus of misinformation. For the people of Zimbabwe, being able to spot a fake job ad is not an academic exercise. It's a survival skill. So, we have Quezon City training its officials and Zimbabwe building a national policy. But you might be thinking, that's great for them. But I'm not a city official in Manila. I'm just a person with a phone. It has everything to do with you. These stories aren't just faraway case studies. They are a blueprint. They are a call to action. The core lesson from both Quezon City and Zimbabwe is the same. The most effective weapon against misinformation is a prepared mind. Think of yourself as a one-person Quezon City task force. You are the first-line official for your social media feed. Every time you pause and question a headline before you share it, you're doing exactly what officials are trained to do. Every time you help a friend, every time you help a family member understand why a story they shared is fake. You're being a community leader. You are stopping the fire from spreading in your own small corner of the internet. The combined effect of millions doing this is enormous. By embracing these steps, you're joining a global movement to ensure truth, not noise, guides our decisions. The solution starts with you. Okay, team, let's get practical. It's time to open up your personal detective agency for spotting fake news. Your first and most important job is to become a source detective. And it starts with a simple, often overlooked clue, the URL. Fake news creators often create websites with names that sound very similar to real trusted news outlets. For example, you might see a link to abcnews.com.co instead of the real abcnews.go.com. Always be suspicious of weird domain endings, or URLs that are just a long string of random numbers and letters. Click on the About Us page. A legitimate news organization will proudly tell you who they are, what their mission is, and who is in charge. A fake news site will often have a vague, generic About Us page, or none at all. Do a quick search on the source itself. If the first few results are all articles calling the site a purveyor of conspiracy theories, then you have your answer. Case closed. Don't read their article and definitely don't share it. You've just stopped the poison at the source. So you've investigated the source and it seems... Okay, you're still not sure. What's your next move, detective? Time for the cross-reference challenge. Big stories get picked up by other reputable outlets. Find the same story on multiple trusted outlets. If only sketchy blogs repeat the same info, you're likely seeing an echo chamber. If you can't find the story anywhere credible, assume it's not real. Now, start an author ghost hunt. Who wrote the article? Credible stories have a byline. If there's a name, investigate it. Search their name. Are they a real journalist? What else have they written? If the name yields nothing, or a fake-looking social profile with a stock photo and no connections, you've likely found a ghost. The name is probably made up. Creators do this to avoid accountability. If the author is a ghost, the story is likely fiction. This last piece of practical advice is perhaps the most difficult, because it requires you to fight against your own brain. You have to learn to check your feelings at the door. When you read a headline or a story that makes you feel an immediate, intense emotion, that feeling itself should be a warning sign. It's a tripwire. Before you react, take a deep breath. Pause. Ask yourself, is this story trying to make me angry? Is it trying to make me afraid? The stronger your emotional reaction, the more skeptical you should become. Use your emotional spike not as a reason to click share, but as a reminder to start investigating. Check the source, cross-reference the story, hunt for the author. Watch out for loaded, manipulative language. Fake news is rarely written in a neutral, objective tone. It will use words that are designed to inflame and divide. Real news reporting, even on dramatic events, tends to use more measured and precise language. It describes what happened. It doesn't tell you how to feel about it. Finally, remember confirmation bias. You have to be extra critical of stories that perfectly align with your worldview. That is precisely when you need to be most skeptical. So here we are at the end of our journey through the murky landscape of the modern internet. We've dissected the anatomy of a lie. We've seen how these falsehoods are engineered to hijack social media algorithms. But we also discovered that we are not defenseless. We have a powerful shield, media literacy. It is the antivirus software for the human brain. You now have a toolkit. You know to check the URL. You know the power of the cross-reference challenge. You know how to go on an author ghost hunt. The final tool, learning to check your feelings at the door. You can disarm fake news' most potent weapon. This work is essential. It preserves public trust. It protects the vulnerable from harm. It ensures our collective decisions are guided by reality. Every time you stop a lie from spreading, you perform a civic duty. You clean a small patch of our polluted information environment. You become a trusted node, a source of clarity in the chaos. Contribute to a culture that values truth over outrage, values evidence over emotion. The fight against fake news is a fight for the truth, and the truth is worth fighting for. Pause. Question. Investigate. Be the shield. Your brain is the most important weapon you have.